dairy-free cheesecake, a fake cheesecake, a cheese fake. So I've always been really interested in taking classic, sort of unhealthy dishes and making a healthier version out of them. So I was looking online for inspiration and I came across this vegan food blogger that I'm super obsessed with. The name of that blog is Pretty Pies. You obviously have to figure out a way to replace the cheese. And a really popular option when it comes to dairy-free baking or vegan baking is to use cashews. And what you usually do with them is soak them overnight, because then the next day when you blend them, you get a really super creamy consistency. But if you don't have enough time, you can also just soak them in boiling water for just a couple of hours, and it'll give you the same super creamy consistency, but in less time. Granted, it's not gonna taste exactly like cheesecake, but it's a really great alternative that still satisfies that craving for cheesecake. And then for the crust, I used a combination of almonds, dates, and walnuts. The dates really help bind the crust together, and the nuts give it a good crunchy texture. And then of course, always a little pinch of salt because it really brings out the flavors. And it just makes a super chewy, crunchy, almost like a granola bar crust. Using dates gives it that sweetness that you're looking for, but in a fruit. So you're not having to add a bunch of sugar or maple syrup or other things. And it just helps bind it together and kind of keep it sticky. Another great thing about this recipe is that you could actually kind of use any flavors that you want. The cool thing with cashews is that they sort of take on whatever flavor you mix into them. So on Pretty Pies, she used limes and blueberries, and when I tried it, I just fell in love with it. It was citrusy and bright and fresh. But you could also do strawberries, cherries, really anything you want. It doesn't also just have to be fruit. I just really love fruit, and I think the colors are great. But the citrus really adds sort of pop and just brightens up all the flavors. I think that a dairy-free cheesecake like this is a really fantastic option for any of your lactose intolerant friends or people who are just looking for a lower calorie or lighter version of their favorite desserts. So really you can make it for anyone, and I definitely went around the office and had all of my other Tasty producer friends try it, and everybody really loved it. Normally when I find inspiration for these videos, I try to change it up a bit and make it unique and make it something my own. But with this one I just thought, like, how can you improve upon something that's already perfect? I always like to find ways to eat the things that I really love but not feel bad afterwards. And that's kind of where my idea for making a dairy-free cheesecake came from. Anyone can make it.